part 12 of our discussion on pastoral or ministerial ethics. My name once again is Evangelist Edward Timpon, and you're most welcome. Please remember to follow my page, my channel, comment, like, and share so that others can also learn from it. So today, what we are saying is you should address invited guests the way they want to be addressed. Okay? You are the senior pastor of Church A. You have invited another senior pastor from Church B to come and join you do a program. He has come. When he came, he told you that his title is Archbishop Emeritus Dr. Professor E.K. Fraser. Then when you go and stand behind the pulpit to invite him to come and preach, okay? Come and stand behind the pulpit and preach. You say, church, let us welcome Apostle Dr. So Fraser. That is wrong. That is not how that's not how he likes to be addressed. Very important. Some pastors do not take this lightly. For some pastors, their title is very important for them. So you should take note and address them like that. You may be surprised that because you got it wrong, next time when you invite him for another program, he will not come. Don't take this for granted. There have been practical examples, practical situations where this happened before. So address your invited guests the way they want to be. If they say they are an apostle, see, it doesn't matter whether you, the pastor inviting them, you are a teacher. Don't call them teachers so and so. No, he says he's an apostle, so address him as an apostle. If he says he's a prophet, address him like that. If he says he's apostle general, address him like that. If he says he's a prophetic general 3, address him like that. If he says he is pastor general Edward K, address him like that. Very important. You see, it also shows that you respect them. I mean, why would you want to go and invite the senior pastor of another church to come and join you do a program, and you behave in a way that portrays that you disrespect them? What do you think? They will not like. They will not like. But remember, for some pastors, they don't care whether you address them by the title that they have given to you or not. Some of them, they don't care. I mean, for instance, take somebody like Dr. Mensa Otabel. Every now and then he refers to himself as Pastor Otabel. And yet, he has doctor attached to his name. You get the point? So he doesn't care. Take Pastor Chris, for instance. Whether you address him as Dr. So-and-so or whatever, it doesn't really matter. In fact, once you say Pastor Chris, he's cool. But there are some others who do not take that lightly. So you should take note to avoid making such terrible mistake and losing very important relationships. Okay? People that God have brought around you to come and help you do the work for which he has brought you here on earth better. Avoid making these kind of mistakes. Very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, there is this other very important point, pastoral ethic. We are saying that as a pastor, you should have some work that you are doing that generates income for you. Maybe you are a senior pastor of a church. You started a church not long ago. Okay, you cannot reasonably expect that the church members will be those to feed you, to take care of your children's school fees and everything, your rent and other things. It will be an unreasonable thing to do. Okay? Unless you have some special provision from God in that regard, then there's no problem. Otherwise, you need to get some work to do. Maybe you can open a store for your wife, the soft mommy, the first lady of the church, okay, to operate. You can bring some small income, some provision shop or something, or something like that. You should get something to do. You should have something to do as a pastor that helps generate income. Do not, as a pastor, depend 100% on the offerings from your church, you'll be disappointed. I said what? You will be disappointed. Maybe over a certain period of time, you have done your budgeting. You have seen that every Sunday, by the time service is over, when you check with the financial secretary or the financial team, the account team, they tell you you had about 5,000 every Sunday back to back. Listen, if you budget based on that, you may be taken by surprise very soon. It may get to a point where the offerings may drop, the tithe may drop from 5,000 every Sunday to say 2,000. How are you going to cover the 3,000 shortfall? How are you going to cover that as a pastor if you depend 100% on the offerings of the church? Number two, a very important pastoral ethic. The monies that, the children of God give to the church as offerings and so on, okay, collection and so on. As a pastor, if you make up your mind that you want to live off that money, God will judge you. That money does not belong to you. It is meant for church projects. Take note. But for tithe is basically for the priest. Even from biblical perspective, it was for the Levites, the priesthood. So for tithe, you can of course do something about it. But it will be reasonable to also set a certain portion of the tithe to help with church developmental projects. Very, very important. Okay? So, very important too. If you're a pastor, don't say you are the senior pastor of the church. You are the one suffering to make sure things work. And so, both collection, offering, offertory, and tithe, or every kind of money that comes, you want to dip your hand into it and use it for your private purposes. God will judge you, except for those that are tithe, that are primarily meant for the priesthood. Take note, so that you don't incur the wrath of God. What I am saying, if you were to do a survey today and pick about 10 charismatic churches, or what we normally say one-man churches, you pick 10 senior pastors, general overseers, founders of those churches, 10, okay, in Ghana today, or Nigeria, or wherever today, and then you say, do you have a church account? It's likely that about 8 out of those will tell you they don't. Did you hear that? A very bad practice. Very bad practice. 2, if you ask them, do you have formal financial administration processes? They would probably about 8 or 7 out of that will tell you no. No, because every money that comes, whether it is crusades that are organized, normal Sunday services, whatever it is, the money ends up with the senior pastor, the founder, because he says the church is his. The church belongs to him. That's what he says. He suffers. So nobody should get to know about the finance of the church. But take note, you may be enjoying for now. If you don't desist from that, God will judge you at some point. Amen. We shall continue.